Good morning, traders. This is Jim Comiskey, Senior Market Strategist at MF Global, coming to you live on Thursday, the 6th of October. It's a little after 9 o'clock a.m. I'll give you some color on the metals complex, amongst other things. First of all, the opinions I'm about to express are mine and mine alone, and not necessarily shared by MF Global, okay? Gold is virtually unchanged. It's up just 60 cents to 1642.10. Silver up 62 cents to 30.97. Copper up 14.4. Okay, big move in copper. Basically, major short cover and rally. Also, there was some bullish numbers out of China. Okay, copper's at 324.95. The dollar is up just 8, 79.46, and the euro currency up 7 to 133.57. Okay, where to start? Okay, yesterday, I kind of neglected to mention this. I might have touched on it briefly. Moody's had downgraded Italy. Okay, I think I might have mentioned it. But they also downgraded several Italian banks. That kind of slipped under a lot of people's radar. Okay, Intesa, San Paulo, and Unicredit downgraded to A2 from A3. Okay, and they also cut ratings on several smaller regionals. Okay, just wanted to put that out there for you. All right, EC is currently, well, the press conferences, I think it just ended. Okay, they left rates unchanged. Okay, but let me give you some of the highlights here. Trichet, Jean-Claude Trichet, who, by the way, is stepping down. Today is his, this was his last EC meeting. And you won't believe who's going to be the next European Central Bank president. We'll get to it. It's a bit of a bombshell, okay, straight up. Trichet says inflation is likely to stay above 2% in the months ahead. The EC to continue fixed rate full allotment MROs till July 2012. Okay, he also says the economy faces intensified downside risks. Yes, it does. EC to resume covered bond purchase program to the tune of, wait for it, 40 billion euros. Trichet says ECB to offer 13-month LTRO. You know, I got to look that up. I don't even know what that is. I would say that's a long-term rate obligation, almost like a 13-month rather T-bill. That's what it sounds like. Trichet says inflation expectations must remain anchored. Inflation risks are broadly balanced. The euro area growth will be very moderate in the second half, and growth risks remain on the downside. Okay, so your typical blah, blah, blah. By the way, speaking of blah, 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 someone on the comments, and in fact I should cite who, I neglected to even talk about Bernanke's testimony. And one of the reasons is because, yes, it's this typical blah, blah, blah habit. And no mention of Bernanke's testimony, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, my apologies. I guess I should have touched on it. One general observation about Bernanke's testimony, he's actually starting to lash out a little bit, which is a really good thing. All right? You know, he's growing a spine. He basically told Congress to do their jobs. Okay? So, anyways, you know, it is a good thing. But you know what it tells me is he's starting to distance himself from what's going on here. He said that Americans are generally upset with the economy the way it is. Oh yeah. So you know, it's very unusual for a central banker to be that frank, be that honest, be that open. But that kind of tells me that he literally he's getting ready to maybe, I don't know, resign. All right, in addition to the ECB meeting here, the Bank of England is launching a QE2, with 75 billion pounds sterling. Okay, the Bank of England voted today to buy 75 billion pounds more in assets to shield Britain's economy from the Eurozone debt crisis and keep the faltering recovery going. So there it is, QE2 out of the Bank of England. Okay, now, all right. The gentleman that is going to be the next European Central Bank president has extraordinarily dirty hands, okay? And you'll kind of see what I mean by that in a second. Okay, his name is Mario Draghi, spelled D-R-A-G-H-I. Okay, he's an Italian banker and economist who's been the governor of the Bank of Italy since January 16th of 2006. He's been designated to succeed Jean-Claude Trichet as president of the EC by November 2011. Okay, now, this gentleman used to work for Goldman Sachs. Yes, Goldman Sachs. Okay, again, this is from Wikipedia, okay, citing the source. Draghi was vice chairman and managing director of Goldman Sachs International and a member of the firm-wide management committee 2002 to 2005. A controversy existed while he was on his duties while employed at Goldman. It has been asserted that Draghi was involved in swaps for European governments, namely Greece, trying to disguise their country's economic status. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Draghi was then vice chairman and managing director of Goldman Sachs and a member of the firm-wide management committee 2002-2005. A controversy existed on his duties while employed at Goldman Sachs. It has been asserted that Draghi was involved in swaps for European governments, namely Greece, trying to disguise their country's economic status. Draghi responded that the deals were undertaken before my joining Goldman Sachs and I had nothing to do with them in his 2011 European Parliament nomination hearings. Okay, Draghi has dirty hands, and now he's going to be the president of the EC. It has been asserted that he was complicit in basically fueling the fire with Greece. Okay, now it has been talked about quite frequently in the markets that the Greek government, okay, basically hid the extent of their debt, okay, from other countries and banks, okay, in order to get more and more loans and get deeper and deeper into debt. And it's asserted that Draghi may have had something to do with that. This is going to be the next president of the EC, okay? To me, that's just, wow, that's just a perfect circle. Cause a crisis, ride in on a white horse, pretend you're going to put out that fire. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. It really is. By the way, the old Occupy Wall Street. I haven't mentioned these kooks either. By the way, they're in front of the Board of Trade as well. And they're getting more and more organized. But I wonder if George Soros is paying them by the hour or by the day. You do got to wonder. Okay, here, I'm going to go to the comments here. Herman Cain is my main man. This from Amp Toys. Ron Paul is good, but a bit too radical for me. I would never blame it. Yeah, 9/11 as Ron Paul did on America. Yeah, Herman Cain. He is kind of incredible. I also Wikipedia'd Herman Cain. Okay, and he's got quite the resume. All right, former chairman, CEO, Godfather's Pizza, former deputy chairman and chairman of the board of directors of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City back in '96. Okay, before his business career, he actually got a degree in mathematics. He was a mathematician in ballistics as a civilian employee of the United States Navy. He's a rocket scientist. That's cool. Commitment to traders, Mr. Faji. I heard the commitment to traders shows huge lows in silver and that banks are now net short. Banks are not net short silver, sir. Okay, banks are net long. Excuse me, it depends on what banks you look at, but in general, according to commitment of traders, okay, your large reportables are long silver. That was for the week ended, I believe, September 30th. No mention of Bernanke's testimony. Apologize, I got to that. All right. Ron Paul, sound money, I agree. I'll reiterate what I said yesterday. He's the smartest man on the stage, but for whatever reason, he's not telegenic. He's old. Comes off as cranky. I don't know. But again, smartest man on the stage. But I don't think he'd be a great vice president, I guess. Yeah, I promised I'd keep politics out of this, but I got kind of drawn into it. If you'd like to email me, please feel free to do so. My email address is just the letter J, COMISKEY, at mfglobal.com, or feel free to give me a call at the desk. My number 888-800-5373. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Please remember, trading commodities is inherently risky and not suitable for all investors. Thanks.